23 minutes past the hour of 9 on your Women Radio WFM 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. My name is Sumto Titilayo Ajama, and I thank you all for joining me this evening, Thursday, the 21st of October, 2021. How are you doing today? How was your day? I hope you had a good day. I hope you had a stress-free day. I hope you had a productive day. You're welcome to Adult Conversations, where we share real life issues and discuss matters relating to the heart. Here on Adult Conversations, you give all the advice by contributing on the subject matter without judging. Adult Conversations on Women Radio runs every Monday through Thursday, 9 to 11 p.m., because we are here to break the culture of silence. So, if you have a story you want us to bring to the family of Adult Conversations, all you have to do is send your story along with your name and contact number to 0703 175 6537. Once again, 0703 175 6537. Tonight on Adult Conversations. Finance is a problem. Finance is a problem. My name is Chukudi, 43 and a businessman. My wife is 36 and a caterer. We have 5 children. My wife just gave birth to twins. My wife has not been happy with this because she's worried about the finances of taking care of 5 children as the pregnancy was not planned and the economy is tight. I have told her I don't mind, but she's still moody. What can I do to make her happy again? Please advise. This is Chukwudi's story tonight. Chukwudi is 43. He's a businessman. His wife is 36. She's a caterer by profession, and they have 5 children. According to Chukwudi, his wife just gave birth to twins. His wife, he says, is not happy with this because she's worried about the finances of taking care of 2 extra children plus the 5 children, and he says the pregnancy was not planned, and of course, the economy is tight. Chukwudi says he has told her over and over again not to worry about it, that he doesn't mind, but she's still moody. So he's asking, what can I do to make her happy again? Please advise. The numbers to do that, numbers to call in to give Chukwudi some advice tonight are 07000 917 917 and 0902 562 5455. 07000 917 917 or 0902 562 5455. You can also send me a text message or a WhatsApp message to the text line 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. And of course, wherever you are in the world, if you still choose to listen, you can do that via the stream link www.wfm917.com. Once again, www.wfm917.com. So please, when you call, ensure that you turn off the volume of your radio completely. I would rather you turn it off completely so that we can avoid any interference and we can have a very smooth flow of conversation. So thank you in advance for that. Also, when you call in, please don't stay too long on the line. Don't dilly-dally around. Don't beat about the bush. Please just stay focused. Stay true to your point. Keep it short, keep it simple, and keep it constructive. That's what I always say. Keep it short, keep it simple, keep it constructive. All right? Please don't attack anybody else's opinion. Don't be judgmental. That's very important to us. Don't be judgmental. Don't be unnecessarily confrontational. And please do not take it upon yourself to condemn anybody's point of view. Also, we give priority to the members of the Adult Conversations family group chat. And if you do want to join the group chat, all you have to do is to send me your number to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537, along with your contact number, of course, your WhatsApp contact number, indicating interest in joining the group, and you will be added on. Now, first on our list tonight on the Adult Conversations family group chat is Francis from Ibafo. Francis says, "Good evening to everyone in the house. Honestly, I'm short of words right now. My advice for you, Chukudi, tonight is that there's nothing you can do for now to calm her down, but you have to continue paying and encouraging her with words from the Bible. With time, she will overcome it. And that's from Francis from Ibafo. Kolawole from Ilupeju says, good evening, all. My advice to Chukudi is for the family to go family planning. My second advice is that Chukudi should double his hustle. God help you. That's from Kolawole from Ilupeju. Chinwe from Ejigbo is saying, good evening, lady. Chukudi, your wife should have prevented the pregnancy if she wasn't ready to have more children. Family planning, ko. Well, Chukudi, try your best for your family and always encourage your wife to be happy, to make her understand that she would love the twins in future. That's from Chinwe from Ejigbo. Daniel Ekong from Owodi Onirin says, good evening, Adult Conversation family. Honestly, Chukudi, sit her down and encourage her. Tell her that it's God that gives children so God can take care of them. Go ahead and pray with her and believe God. That thing she's looking at as nothing can turn into a testimony. Play with her and let God work his works. And that's from Daniel Ekong from Owode Oniri. This one is from Tokwe from Ikorodu. And this one goes thus. My advice to Chukudi is that he should try and go for family planning without any further delay to prevent another accidental discharge. He must find a way to increase his sources of income and cut his expenses down considerably. If it is possible, he should relocate to an area or town or city where the standard of living is relatively low. The aim is that the grown-up children can attend government schools, thereby nearby the place of abode, and pay little or nothing as tuition fees. If he has the physical strength, he can go into subsistence farming by growing vegetables, cassava, maize, plantain, etc., to meet the feeding requirements of the family. And that is from Tokwe from Ikorodu. Taiwo from Ifo says, good evening, house. Mr. Chukudi, tell your wife to calm her nervousness down. Things shall fall in pleasant places for you in Jesus' name. We twins are a blessing to our family, and God is in control. And that's from Taiwo from Ifo. Yes, as I said earlier, priority is given to the members of the Adult Conversation Family Group Chat. So if you do want your messages to be taken first before the phone lines are even officially open, you need to join that group chat. And one way to do that, or the only way to do that, is to send in your number and your name indicating interest in joining the group chat. Now, when you do that, remember that you have to also send your name and your number indicating interest in joining the group chat. That's basically it. So the phone lines will open in a second, and this is still Adult Conversations.
I feel that there's some sort of lack of professionalism in this because we're talking about 100 lives.
Government has to also put in place a structure to make it look like what they have in mind.
How do we stop crime in the society? Because at the end of the day, if a man cannot provide for his wife anymore, he looks for other means.
We should address Nigerian problems.
This is Panorama.
Mondays through Fridays from 9:15 a.m.
And WFM 91.7 will bring you ladies from across Nigeria's political zones, dissecting, discussing, and disagreeing on topical issues of the day. You too can join the conversation by tweeting us at WFM917 with the hashtag Panorama. WFM 91.7, the voice of women.
Women are simply amazing, great nurturers who spend most of their time, energy, and thought juggling life and family. Women are refreshing wells of courage and warmth. Up you, woman! Now is the time to find and identify your true self. Become the best you. Live your true purpose. Up You with Ezinne helps you begin the journey, empowers you with hope and inspiration. Tune in to Up You with Ezinne Kufre Kanem every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Up You with Ezinne will help you stand up, speak up, shake up, soak up, skill up, and serve up. It's 4 p.m. every Saturday on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Up You with Ezinne, finding self, finding purpose.
Give them left and right, hot.
You think you know Nigeria's biggest tunes?
This graduate's a problem.
Then get in the ring on the Big Tune Show every weekday from 4 to 5 p.m. on WFM 91.0.
Be ready or get knocked out.
Start your day right with Power Touch on the Wake Up Show.
Minutes to 10 on your Women Radio, WFM 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. You're welcome once again to Adult Conversations, where we share real life issues and discuss matters relating to the heart. Tonight, we're discussing Chukwudi's story, and Chukwudi's story goes thus. My name is Chukwudi, 43, and a businessman. My wife is 36 and a caterer. We have 5 children. My wife just gave birth to twins. She has not been very happy with this. She's worried about the finances of taking care of 5 children, as this pregnancy was not planned and the economy is tight. I have told her I don't mind, but she's still moody. What can I do to make her happy again? Please advise. Hello, good evening. Comrade, good evening.
Good evening.
Work day, oh, bless God. I am sad now.
I tried today in the afternoon time. I tried to.
What's in happen?
I passed into one economist, a graduate that was clearing gutter. I engaged him by telling him, say, why didn't you use rem boots? Can you see, take amphitrons and food him? He said, me the story of his life. Where these people, when in the family side, they pursue them. I'm telling you.
Sorry about that.
Somebody was telling us to enter into agriculture, and by asking us to go and bring our great grandmother birth certificate and the python egg. Have they pursued people that are killing the farmers? I wish I'm done with it or Lenuka. I have 1,000 workers, but I don't have that capacity. Let me cry. All those sabres where they see, they collect the money. Now, because of nobody to help them, some of them are graduates, so some of them are very intelligent. But what did they go do? What did they go do? Concerning today's topic.
Yes, please go ahead.
Now, God will bring, and God will take care. So, too, at the manufacturer landlord, and I get about 5 plots of land. At the plant to grow, at the plant trying to plant onions and beans to expand it because of Nigeria Kuala, Nigeria Tifo, Nigeria Tijapo, because of tomorrow. Understand me? This one no work, this one go work.
Yes.
So let her husband continue constant dialogue. I'm saying dialogue. Let him continue advising, telling him, say, I'm going to bring. And make him see how he could take action.
Comrade, are you there?
I fully collect this night. So he should expand his income. Yes. Nothing will happen. Maybe you have no free clips. Yes.
All right.
For now.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much, Comrade. Thank you for calling. First caller tonight, and that's Comrade, and he's saying, in as much as they have more children than they planned for, God gives, and it's God that gives children. So he should not take it too seriously, and he should try and be a constant source of encouragement to his wife. And of course, which is, I think, the most important thing, he should expand his sources of income. And Kolawole from Ilupeju mentioned this in one of the messages on the Adult Conversation group chat, which is why you need to join that group chat if you're not already on it. So tonight's story is actually a very popular one. It's something that goes on more than we would like to think in this Nigerian climate. I mean, if it doesn't go on more than we would like to think, why do we have so many children? Why do we have so many young people? Why are young people the majority of the Nigerian population? That just explains the fact that there's a family planning vacuum that needs to be filled. And this is not to say that that is the only solution, but this is to say that this goes on more than we would like to even think or more than we would like to accept in the Nigerian climate. So Chukwudi is basically saying that his wife is worried that minus their 5 children or plus their 5 children, they have a set of twins. So now altogether they have 7 children. And his wife is worried, and for good reason, because she's saying or she's thinking, her worries along the lines of the fact that number one, the pregnancy was not planned, but two, and most important, the economy is tight. And you will agree with me that the economy really is tight. Anyway, this is still Adult Conversations, and we require you, we need you to give Chukwudi some much needed advice tonight. Some very much needed advice tonight so that he can communicate this to his wife and restore her joy and calm her down and get her to settle into the new role that she is in as a mother and not awfully worry about the fact that the economy is tight and that they might need to, get more money in to take care of the twins as well as the 5 children. So Chukwudi needs the advice. If you're just joining us, the numbers to call are 07000 917 917 or 902 562 5455. Again, 07000 917 917 or 902 562 5455. 5 children plus 2 extra. I don't know what to make of this. And the first question I would like to ask is, how long has Chukwudi and his wife been married? Chukwudi says he's 43, his wife is 36. He's a businessman. We don't know what business he does specifically, so we can't really tell what the scope of his financial capacity is. We can't really tell how much money he makes. For instance, if he's a trader, maybe he just buys and sells items, food items, for instance. It might be dicey as regards his source of income, being that the economy is tight and things keep going up. So it will give us some sort of worry as regards how much income he's bringing. If he's into construction or if he's into another source of business, another business venture that doesn't require so much risk in it and it doesn't go up and down the way the economy is going up and down or the way the inflation rate is going up and down, then maybe that might be a more steady source of income for him. I mean, it might not require too many uncertainties. So that's my point when it comes to understanding the scope of his financial capacity. So we need to be aware of the fact that he's a businessman, but we don't know exactly what he does for business because he doesn't say here. His wife is 36 and she's a caterer. We don't also know how large the scale of her catering business is as well. For instance, if she caters for big events like weddings, company parties, I think weddings are like the biggest deal right now. So if she caters for businesses, for weddings like that, for business functions that are really high and upscale, then possibly she may have more jobs coming in and she may be able to make more money as well. So we can't really tell either the scope of her financial capacity. All we know is that Chukwudi is a businessman and his wife is a caterer. Now they have 5 children. 5 children in a typical Nigerian economy is a lot, depending on, again, your financial capacity. But this is a family that is fine with their 5 children. And now enter the new twins. Like Comrade said, God gives children. God is a giver of children. Children are a gift, regardless of how we want to accept it. Children are always, always a gift. Some people long for children, but they don't have. Some people do not want children, but they just find themselves having children. So we never really can tell all the details of the children and all of that, and how long they've been married, that they have 5 children. But regardless, they have 5 children, and now they have 2 extra children. I think I should just keep saying they have 7 children because they don't have 5 children anymore. They have 7 children now. So, for good reason, Chukwudi's wife is wondering, what are we going to do with money? How are we going to make money? And we all understand that. How do I phrase this now? New children, like babies. Yeah, that's the word. Nobody says new children. Babies have a lot to take from you when it comes to money because of how much their upkeep costs and all of that. Diapers, baby food, constant change of clothes because of how fast they grow and all of that. So it's not it's not unthinkable for Chukwudi's wife to wonder what's going to happen next and worry about it. But Chukwudi is asking now, this is where I need us to give him some advice. Chukwudi is asking, what can I do to make her happy again? So he says, I have told her I don't mind, but she's still moody. What can I do to make her happy again? On some level, this means this means that Chukwudi is most likely the sole or most likely the biggest financial provider, not sole provider because his wife works, but he possibly makes more money than his wife does because he said, I've told her I don't mind. Now, I'm not sure whether this means that I don't mind in the sense that I don't mind that we have 7 children now, or I don't mind that our financial burden will be increased. So regardless, he's saying, I don't mind. We have 7 children now. I don't mind, and I don't want you to worry about it. Now, is Chukwudi saying this because he really doesn't want her to worry about it, or is he saying this because he just wants her to calm down and not overthink it? So that's one aspect. But I think the most important thing here is the economy. And Chukwudi is saying that I've told her not to mind. I've told her I don't mind, but she's still moody. What can I do to make her happy again? So this is what I always ask. If you've ever been in these shoes before, if you've ever been in these shoes, if this has ever been your reality, this is the time to give Chukwudi some advice. This is the time to talk to him, to let him understand what it is that he can do or should refrain from doing so as to keep his wife in a good mood and to get her back into her regular happy self so that she can stop thinking and overthinking about the financial burden on the family with the incoming of the 2 bundles of joy. All right, so this is a message. You don't have your name here. Please, when you send messages, kindly put your name and your location. For instance, Dele from Ibafu, Francis from Ibafu, Chukwudi from Magboro, like that, please, so that we can read your messages and be sure that that's you. All right, so Comrade is saying, I don't blame Chukwudi. I don't blame Chukwudi's wife that leaves the pregnancy. I'm not sure what that means. He says Chukwudi will take her to strive. His wife should calm down. Okay, so while we're waiting more calls, again, the phone lines are 07000 917 917 0902 562 5455. The text line is 0703 175 6537. So please do well to call in to give Chukwudi some advice. He wants to hear from you. He really does want to hear from you. So Chukwudi has sent some more information that helps to understand his financial capacity. Chukwudi says, he's into electronics business and he has his own store. He's into electronics business and he has his own store. And that's what Chukwudi is saying as regards the scale of his business and how much his financial capacity is. He says he has his own store and he's into electronics business. So thinking about that, we could gauge that to some extent, Chukwudi's financial capacity is all right. But is it good enough for 7 children at this point? Should his wife really not worry? So in the messages initially, we got different people saying mostly 2 things actually. So somebody is saying, calm down, calm her down and continue praying and encouraging her with words from the Bible. Somebody else is saying, go for family planning. And that's what I want to talk about just for a little bit. Family planning. Okay, before I talk about that, I want to read one more message that highlights family planning. Now, this one says, Your wife should have prevented the pregnancy if she wasn't ready to have more children. And that is what my mind cannot quite fathom. Now, we need to understand that family planning is a joint effort. It's not just the woman, neither is it just the man. It's a joint effort. And for people that have had 5 children, except if the 5 children was the plan. If the 5 children was the plan, then we would be on the same page if we say that, okay, they got to the number of children that they wanted to have. Some couples enter marriages without necessarily knowing how many kids they want to have. They just believe that God will provide. And as it comes, God will keep providing for them to, take care of the children. Coming back to family planning. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Tonto. Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Mike Mr. Mike from Shengotedo here.
All right, Mr. Mike.
All right, on the subject matter, I think when we were talking, people should always give room for excuses, or because it is always good to preach or to talk and blame people than you action. The people are looking for advice for way forward and not for you to blame them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what people should be considering now.
True.
Are they people going to take assistance to pay school fees, get the man or the woman established? How do we help them? What does the man need? Prevention or no prevention? Are they saying they should go and kill the children or what? So I suggest that people who are calling in to know that people can make mistakes even when there is plan. So we should be thinking, what is the way forward? How do we help the people? Number one, we should talk about how to emotionally and psychologically stabilize a woman who is already devastated because it is unexpected. So how do we help? So I want to appeal to the callers in what they're looking for solution and not to add to their problem.
You're very right, Mr. Mike. Please don't go. Please don't go. You're very right, Mr. Mike. What they need is solution. And Chukwudi asked a very specific question in his story. But before we get to that question, because I'd like you to answer that for him as well. But before we get to that, okay, what's your solution in this case?
One, you are looking for now what to do. The question is, are they working? If yes.
Yes, Chukwudi is a businessman and his wife is a caterer.
He's a caterer.
Yes, so they both have jobs.
Why are they worried? Why are they worried? The next thing to do is to sit down and structure their business and structure their life expense and maybe they need to begin to streamline in terms of their budgeting to accommodate more on this instead of more of ostentatious living. Maybe try to narrow down and I know that if they begin to narrow down and plan, because when you allow emotions to come in anything, you can be disorganized. They should first calm down, they make mistakes, and tell themselves there are people looking for these children. We are blessed with children. Though on plan. Now, how do we go? Not to get in one, they should leave emotion aside and focus on how to streamline their income. And God will send me also can send helpers to assist if they see how organized they are, how emotional stable they are. Because number one, the emotional stability. You need to think straight and think right. That is my contribution.
All right. Talking about emotional stability, Chukwudi asked one specific question, which is why that's what I wanted to answer before I let you go. He said, what can I do to make her happy again?
Okay, the woman.
Yes, the woman.
Okay. He should be more one, encouraging her, supportive. He should try to encourage her, try to be supportive, and if possible, try to shield her from people that will begin to blame her. He should not be all and all for her now. He should be there. Encourage her.
Thank you.
And give him give her all the support he needs, and shield her away from these people that will blame her relatives or whoever that want to blame. Nobody should have access to her that will discourage her at her problem.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mike.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your night. Okay, so I would like to add to that because he said everything, and that's true. We're not seeking blame. Nobody is exchanging blames. Nobody's pointing out blames. Nobody is sharing blame. Nobody's passing along blame in any way. And we do not do that in adult conversations. We don't judge. We don't condemn. We don't attack anybody. We're just here for constructive advice. So please, when you call in, ensure that we stick to constructiveness. You keep it short, keep it simple, and keep it constructive. So he's also saying that they need to pipe down on a lot of things. They need to narrow down their spending. They need to inculcate a lot of budgeting. They need to strategize and structure their businesses properly in a way that they can use it to earn more, package it well, use it to earn more. At the end of the day, they would be able to, you know, be on a higher financial scale so that they can take care of their children. He's also saying that that Chukwudi by himself should try and give her consistent support, consistent encouragement, and he should shield her away from people who want to blame her that she's having more children than they had before, more children than they had before. All right, please call again. Please call again. I was talking about family planning earlier, and this goes back to something Chukwudi said last, shielding her away from people that want to blame her for having more children. And this takes me to this message that wasn't Kolawole. This one was from Chinwe. Chinwe said, your wife should have prevented the pregnancy if she wasn't ready to have more children. Again, family planning is a joint effort. This is something that both of them could have done. I'm coming back to that. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Santo.
Good evening, Elijah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, yes, I would like to pick it up from the last caller. Yeah, the person that just spoke last now. He made mention of the husband should stay behind the woman. More like a shade.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought of something. Based on the story, I think we are not the man in question. I think based on what he said, what you just read out, I think he told the woman that it's okay that having taken care of five. I think he's not having any issue of the taking care of the two that they just have. So what me I just what just come to my mind, I think maybe the woman, she's down because of what what people are saying that, oh, come on, after 5 children, so
let me clarify that for you for 1 second. We do not know about that in the story. Why she's down, according to the story, is because she's concerned that the economy is tight. And because the economy is tight, she's worried about how they're going to financially provide for these children.
Okay, now I got now I got it because first for me I think the husband, he does he know the wife better than we do, and he know what so what I will advise for him is just to try to just like the caller said, and try to be closer and try to encourage her, and about their business, because I think having had another two now, I know I'm very sure you need to buckle up and and step up and cut out some expenses and some things.
Of course.
So for me, we should just
thank you, Elijah,
woman, and encourage her, so that she will not get distressed, and and then make her to realize that it's a blessing, even though.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, because I think if they eventually have one, the woman will not come out and I'll still come out. So
thank you very much, Elijah.
Have one, so I think so. All right.
Thanks. This is a message from Comrade who says Chukwudi and his wife should now gum together, pray together, feel free. He should also strategize and boost his shop with other goods to augment the welfare of the family. He says planning, strategizing, controlling their spending, and improving their income, they will persevere. He also said Chukwudi should channel his energy at looking for money and not policing his wife from Amebo, which people must talk. All right. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name or where are you calling from?
It is Mr. J calling from Ikeja.
Mr.
J calling from Ikeja.
Mr. Day.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Mr. Day, are you a first time caller?
Oh, I called.
All right. Thank you for calling. Yeah. Thank you for calling tonight. All right, Mr. Day, please, what's your advice for Chukwudi tonight?
My advice for both of them is that they should put all their expectation in God. The person that gave them the twins, and we come into the spiritual aspect, the person that gave them the twins, no reason why he gave them the twins. Yeah. So it's for a purpose. They should not look at the economic right now to judge the situation on ground. Even though someone that even gave birth to a single child close to where I'm living, abandon the child outside and run away. Not surplus of two. Although it's so hard now, but they should just focus on the giver of those children. And they should not listen to what the wicked neighbors around who are full of jealousy of what God has done to them to judge things around. The little they are doing, they should put their effort. The giver of life, the provider, will provide for them because they know how to take care of those two that has given them better than they that seems to be the caretaker. That's my advice. So they should just do all things in the way they have the capacity to do it. And I believe God will support them to finish it off.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Day. Yeah. 10 o'clock on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. I quickly want to ask a question as regards this family planning. And I'm emphasizing on this because, like I said, it's a more popular issue than people like to admit. We just like to have children and just have children and just have children. And sometimes we don't necessarily think about the financial implications of having many children, particularly in the financial state that the country is in right now. So I'm going back to that and I'm saying family planning is a joint effort. But before I go on in that context, and by that I mean the man can practice family planning. The woman can practice family planning. She can go get an IUD. She can decide just to make sure that she's using contraceptive pills. There are tons of ways around it, but you also need to consult with your medical professional, your medical practitioner, your doctor, basically. You need to consult your doctor before going into any sort of permanent or temporary family planning method. But her husband can also practice family planning. He can choose to use condoms if they do not decide to have children consistently, if they don't want to have more children, and that would keep them away from the possibility of that. Yes, condoms break. Nothing is absolute when it comes to that. But at the same time, it's one way to plan. It's one way to practice family planning. He could get a vasectomy if he chooses to, and that's another way. But I'm not sure that we're ready for that conversation because a lot of men do not even see the need to have that. They would rather the woman go tie her tubes or I don't know, whatever it is that they would rather she does. But they usually do not want to have a vasectomy. So talking about family planning, I want to ask, you already had 5 children before the twins. Did you discuss family planning at any point? And by any point, I mean, did you discuss family planning when you had just 2 children or when you had just 3 children? Or was the original plan to have 5 children? So when you say unplanned, do you mean that this was really unplanned? This was this was stepping outside the plan, just the twins. So is it that the 5 children were the plan? Or you did not discuss family planning at all. You just kept having children. Once she gets pregnant, she has the baby. Once she gets pregnant, she has the baby. What is the age difference between your 5 children before the twins? In fact, between the 7 children. What's the age difference? Because that will help us understand whether this conversation is a today conversation, or whether this conversation should have been had before, or whether this conversation has been had before. It will give us context as regards whether the subject of family planning is something that we should start talking about now, or whether it's something we should start implementing now, meaning that there has been a prior conversation before now. So, Chukudi, if you're listening, have you and your wife spoken about family planning before? Maybe when you got married, did you have a plan of, okay, we want to have 2 children? And then she had 2 children. And then you were like, okay, maybe we should have one more. Or let's have one more and stop. And then somehow she ended up having one more, then one more, then one more, and now the twins. So, what was the plan? Did this conversation ever happen? Did it ever come up? And then another very important question, which is what I would think justifies what your wife is feeling right now. What was the state of your financial health in your marriage, in your family before the twins came? What was the state of your financial health in your marriage before the twins came? Were you people buoyant and financially capable? Were you secure financially? Did you have any financial issues? Did you have money problems? Were you struggling financially before the twins came? Because if you were struggling, it validates how your wife feels. Yes, you're saying she shouldn't bother, she shouldn't worry about it because possibly God will provide and all that good stuff. But what was the state of your financial situation in the house? What was the financial situation in your family before the twins came? This will help us understand how well to give you advice and the context of the advice to give you as we go on. Again, this is Adult Conversations, and in case you're just joining us, we're profiling Chukwudi's story tonight. Chukwudi is married, and he and his wife have or had 5 children. Now they have 7 children because they just welcomed a set of twins. Now, with the welcoming of this set of twins came worry for his wife. So his wife is worried because now they have a set of twins, and she's worried that the economy is tight, so they might not have enough to take care of the children. And Chukwudi is saying, I've told her I don't mind, but she's still worrying about it. What can I do to make her happy again? What can I do to make her happy again? And that's why he needs our advice. So while we're giving advice, please let us not judge. Let's understand that this is somebody's reality. So however flimsy it sounds to us, however inconsequential it sounds to us, this is somebody's reality that somebody's living through. So let's take it with that understanding. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Matog.
What's your name, please?
My name is Agatha.
Agatha from Matog. Agatha, you called yesterday?
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for calling again. Okay, so Agatha, are you Tessiam?
Is the man didn't mind that he's going to born another one, or is he put anything like that?
No. The reason he said he doesn't mind is because his wife is worried about the economy and how the economy will affect the children and how much money they will need to take care of the children. So he's saying he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind that thought, meaning that he's saying he doesn't mind that they have a set of twins and that he's indirectly telling her that they can handle it.
Let the man encourage the wife. So it's 2 of them that start the work, and the 2 of them to end it. What the woman and the man, they will let 2 of them sit down. So to go for family planning, that is my advice to them.
Okay, to go for both of them to go for family planning, yeah?
Yes, 2 of them.
Okay. So, quick question: do you think this family planning conversation should have been had before now?
They didn't make sure. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they have already talked about the family planning before. Then go to the thing. I don't know.
Okay. What I'm asking you is, do you think they should have gone for family planning before now?
As for me, they have to go before now, no.
Okay.
Because
So that's
this
why you're
country is not
saying,
smiling.
I see. I understand. So that's why you're saying they should go now, right? Being that now is not too late.
Yes, right now, two of them to plan their life, so the two of them will train the children.
Okay. Thank you very much, Agatha. Thank you for calling.
Okay. Bye. Good night.
Yeah, good night. 9 minutes after 10 on Your Women Radio WFM 91.7. This is still Adult Conversations, and we're still profiling Chukwudi's story. Chukwudi is in, I wouldn't say particular, he's not in any mix, actually. He's pretty straightforward because he doesn't mind the fact that his wife has a new set of twins and that the economy might be a challenge and that they might have financial challenges. He's not too bothered about that. His wife is the one who's bothered about it, and he's trying to calm her down to ensure that she doesn't keep worrying about it and it doesn't get in the way of her taking care of the kids and the twins. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Comfort Ajinob. I'm calling from K2 Alakbere.
Hi, Comfort. Comfort, how's Katie tonight?
Fine. Fine.
All right. Are you calling for the first time?
Hmm?
Are you calling for the first time?
This is second time.
Second time. Second time. No shekere for you, Comfort.
Huh?
No shekere for you. You have called before.
Okay, I've called before.
You have called before.
My advice.
All right.
My advice to them. My advice to two of them is that the woman should listen to his husband. The man has said that he's capable. He's capable to take care of her and his children. He should listen to the husband. He should obey his husband. He shouldn't think about it. It's not a new thing on earth. You know that the economy of Nigeria is bad. Huh?
Yes, I'm listening. Go ahead.
The economy of Nigeria is bad. It's not only them that is facing that kind of trend. There are many people taking. Since the man said she shouldn't worry, that he's going to take care of those things and the remaining one. The woman should listen to her husband. She should not think or neither run away, neither leave those children. She listen to her husband. Her husband know that he's capable. Before her husband will tell her that he should not worry. We know that he's capable to take care of her after the economies of Nigeria.
Okay, so let me give you some context, Comfort. Are you still there? Okay. So her husband is into electronics.
Yeah.
And he owns his own store. So in your opinion, do you think that he's financially able to cater for 7 children?
According to the man, if the man is not financially able, he shouldn't have told the woman that she should not worry.
All right, so that brings me to my second question. Do you think that there's a possibility that he said she should not worry because he's just trying to calm her down? She just had 2 babies. So he might just be trying to make her feel less anxious so that she doesn't really worry. Not really because there's nothing to worry about.
Okay.
So do you think that there's really nothing to worry about, that he can handle it, they're good? Or do you think he told her that just because he wants to get her to calm down and worry a little bit less?
What is there is that the woman also is working. The woman is a caterer.
Yes, she is.
She's a caterer. So the woman also can even serve as he can even serve as his husband also. Even though the man is just saying it for her not to think. The woman is working.
Okay.
She's able to assist his husband also.
Of course.
Hello?
Of course. Okay, so you're basically saying she should just listen to her husband and really try not to worry.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Comfort. Thank you for calling. All right. Comfort is saying, listen to your husband. Your husband says he has it covered, so believe that he has it covered and trust in that. Now, the only thing that might be dicey is if he has said trust in me before and maybe it didn't come through. But we're not going to think about it from that perspective because the best way to think about it is to stay positive. We don't know the dynamics of your marriage. Again, we do not know the scale of your catering business, of Chukwudi's wife's catering business. So we can't tell how much she's really bringing on board. But the good part, which is the part we have to commend, is the fact that she has a business. So regardless of how little she's bringing, she's still contributing to the finances of that family. She doesn't have to go to her husband for every single thing that she needs because she can do some things within the household as well. And that's always, always, always a plus. That's always a plus. So you can contribute according to Comfort's call. Now, Comfort says, don't worry about it. Your husband says he has it covered, and that means that he should have it covered. Now, I asked, could he be saying it just because he wants her to calm down? Or is he saying it really because he has it covered? Now, for that, we will not really know, but I will also need advice from people who have been in this situation before. You don't have to have had 7 children, or you don't have to have 7 children. What I need is if a man or a woman who has had more children than they initially planned for, more children that they initially planned for, that got to the point of worry, particularly about finances and taking care of the children generally. So if this has been your reality of this, or if this is your current reality, Chukwudi is open to advice, which is why he brought his subject on to adult conversations. So we can profile and we can give him some good advice. Now, something just occurred to me as well. But before I say that, let me take this message. Comrade, again, is saying, I love this caller. That's Comfort. I love this caller. It's not the end of the world. The husband is capable. He has plans. Sumto. And he said, Sumto, everybody in Nigeria has worries. Oh. Well, I think that one's true. Where I was going is with children, doesn't just come financial responsibility about the baby. It's not just the children. It's not just the twins now. You still have 5 children from before the twins that you still need to take care of. So the money is not going to just baby food, baby wears, how to cater for the baby, baby rollers, baby every. Then again, you might not even need some of all these things because you've had 5 children before. So maybe all the details that you need to buy, you most likely already have those things, except you may have given them out before or gotten rid of them because you really did not plan to have more children. Then if that's the case, they may have to start afresh buying some of these things. But where I'm going is the fact that there's extra financial responsibility on this family because of the incoming of these twins. So we're talking education, we're talking food, we're talking clothing, we're talking shelter, we're talking everything that requires money. Everything that requires money is involved here. Now, if they used to have maybe 100,000 naira to go around for the family, now that 100,000 naira would need to either increase or the workload of that 100,000 naira will need to reduce because they need to spread it around more because they have 2 extra mouths to feed. So at this point, you cannot deny that there's extra financial burden. But this goes back to what Comrade just said. He has plans. Well, that's what Comrade said. Does he have plans? That's the question. Chukwudi, do you have plans? Do you have plans? Now, if you do have plans, don't you think it might be wise to share some of these plans with your wife? Some of these plans that you have concerning how to move forward and how to make extra money so that you can actually take better care of not just the children before, but even these new babies. So maybe if you share some of these plans with her, it might take away some of her worry because she might see the productivity of your plan and the feasibility of it, and maybe even give you some advice. Hello, good evening. Good evening, Dick and Ben.
I greet you. How are you?
I'm very well, sir. I greet you too. Hope you had a good day.
Yes.
Awesome. Why did you have to think about that? Okay, please call back if you can. Please call back if you can. So I was talking about the financial load on the family. Is Chukwudi really saying my wife or babe? I don't know what he calls her, but is he saying don't worry because he's just trying to calm her down? Or is he really saying don't worry because he really has got it covered? And by that I mean, does he have plans that he feels that if they fall into place at the right times, everything will work out and she would really not have to worry? And if he does have these plans, should he try to communicate it with her now? Or should he wait while she's calmer and she can think rationally and possibly give him more advice? Or should he share this advice, this and plans with her, now that she's worrying so that she can worry less or so that she can stop worrying completely? What do we think about that? This is a reality for more people than we care to understand, than we care to realize, than we care to admit in the Nigerian climate. And this is because people believe that as long as God gives children, you should be able to take them. But we really do have a choice. We have a choice, and that's where family planning comes in. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Mr. Mike again, calling from Shangotedo.
Mr. Mike, you have 30 seconds.
Okay, I just thought of what the comment said about plan. I think maybe I'm thinking towards that also. I think the man should be more, will I say, practical to give the wife hope and not theory. Because even in the past, he has not been very objective and very practical in his planning and dealings that gives the woman hope to believe in the man. I think that would be a problem. So he should be more objective and practical in his getting in his plan and activities that will build hope in the life of the woman. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Now, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. If he has plans, is it not a good idea to share it with her so that she can actually see the reality of what he's saying? And so it's not as if he's just talking, like Nigerians would say, it's not just mouth. It's not just mouth, so that the wife will not understand, will not think that, oh, na so in the talk every time, na so in the talk, na so in the talk. She will actually understand that this is something that he has actual plans for, practical steps, actionable steps that he's taking out, one after the other to scale his business, to take his business to the next level, to get more money, basically, for the family. Is it a good idea or is it not a good idea for him to share some of these plans with her if he does have such plans? If he does not have such plans, wouldn't it be a good idea to get some of these plans so you can actually talk to her and get her to understand what it is that he plans to do so that she can actually fully, really internalize the fact that her husband is confident that they would move from this level to another level and she would be more open to worrying less because she can see that he really does have plans. Again, 07000 917 917 0902 562 5455. I'm going on Facebook now to take some messages off of Facebook. Okay, this one is coming from Oluwaseun Emmanuel, who says, let her understand that it's God that feeds the birds of the earth, not even our salary. Can you give account of how much you've spent from the beginning of this year? Yet we claim to be poor. My dear, it is God. He will never let his own down. Give that woman some words of encouragement until she stops thinking. Oh, and he adds, congrats. All right, please try again. Try to call in again. Nicholas Isaac Soporichi is saying it's normal and it's called postpartum depression. Yes, thank you. Some go after a short time and others might need a psychiatric doctor's help. Go to any general hospital and tell them this. Look for people to stay with her and assist in all domestic chores. Sit her down. Oh, okay. In all domestic chores. That's where Nicholas stops. Daniel Udo takes it from there and says, sit her down and let her know that God is the one that's going to take care of the children, not by how much money we make. And two of you should pray to God to take control. Ayokomi Oluwatosin Peter says, it's not just about talking verbally. It's about you proving to her that there is no problem. You double your hustle and move closer to God because even the Bible says work and pray. Great Joe says, apology and stop giving birth, Oga. Naija don't hard. So those are the messages off of Facebook right now. You can still send more comments on Facebook. You can still send more comments on Instagram. We're live on Facebook and on Instagram as well. So you can watch everything that's going on in the studio right now as we have the conversation. 23 minutes past the hour of 10 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. So we've discussed several aspects of this. We discussed the faith aspect, which is the part that most people keep tilting to, which is the fact that God gives children and God will be able to take care of these children. But the reality is, as much as God will be able to take care of these children, we need to also fulfill our end of the bargain, which is putting our hard work in it and making sure that we connect with Him, have a relationship with Him, get to be able to experience His reality for us based on what we understand of Him. I say that because if God is going to help, or when God will help, or when God will come through for you, if you're not connected, you might not really know how it will happen or when it will happen. But you need to be able to put yourself in that space where you can communicate and you can allow God to actually take control. Now, God will definitely provide, but we also need to put our own part of the bargain, minus the relationship. We need to work. Even the Bible says faith without works is dead. Now, Chukudi has a business and he's saying he has his own store. But does that say that your store is doing well? Does that say that your income from last year into this year is better? Does that say that since the COVID-19 pandemic, your business has picked back up? Does that say that you are in a very healthy financial situation right now? You having your own store does not necessarily say that. But then we really don't know the scale of his business. We don't know the scope of his financial capacity. So we really can't say specifically. My English is just acting up tonight. Well, God, help me. All right. So, but this also goes for Chukwudi's wife as well, who is a caterer. We do not know how well her business is doing as well. So we really do not know the scope of their joint financial capacity in that marriage. Now, if they have not been thinking of anything outside of food, house rent, school fees, just upkeep generally, if they've not been thinking about anything outside of that, then possibly they will be fine. Most likely they'll be fine. They might just need to cut down on certain things, just like we receive advice. We received advice in that line saying they will need to scale down on some areas, not live ostentatiously, so that they can meet their needs and the needs of their children. This also brings to mind the fact that the topic of family planning came up, and I said I was going to talk about that. And it's imperative that this conversation be had because this is kind of why we are where we are now. I asked this question initially, but I haven't gotten any response from Chukudi yet as to whether they had the family planning conversation before or whether they had not had it at all. If you get married and you intend to have children, isn't it wise to talk about how many children you have or how many children you want to have and look at your financial capacity and decide whether, okay, this is where we'll stop and this is how many children we can afford to cater for. That can expand as your financial capacity increases, depending on if you want to have more children. So in this climate of today, I think gone are the days when people just have children randomly. So this is where family planning comes in. This is also where literacy comes in. This is also where, how do I put it now? This is also where knowledge comes in. So if you didn't know before, Chukudi, I think now is a good time to introduce you to family planning. You can talk to your doctor. You can go to, if you don't have a personal doctor, you can go to any general hospital around you where you can get information on family planning for you and family planning for your wife. So you can have constant sex with your wife as much as you choose to without the risk of having children, provided you're protected, provided she's protected, provided you're both protected against the risk of having more children if you do not want more. So this is that learning curve where it's wise to take the lessons and to move on from this, depending on what it is that you take. So if you decide to just have family planning, then great. If you decide to have family planning and more kids, then great. But it also depends on you and your wife. And you definitely need to consult your wife on this. So now would be a good time to say that. I just had to put that out there. So I was talking about the financial capacity of their family before the twins came. I don't know the quality of education that your children are currently receiving. You have 5 children before the babies. I don't know what schools they go. What schools did they go to? What what schools did they go to? How well do you feed in your family? Um, do you have challenges that come in your line of business more often than profit? Does your profit margin span a certain period in the year, or whether you have just regular inflow of money, people just walking through your store and just, buying things and giving you money? All this will inform how your wife is reacting now and what to do next. Hello, good evening.
So the network is bad. I hope it will allow me to say what I want to say before it goes off again.
I hope so too. Please go ahead, Dick and Ben.
It's all right. Really, the story of Chukwudi, um, it's a combination of, can I say, joy versus apprehension or anxiety on the part of the woman now. And let's be realistic to ourselves. The family is 5 already, with additional 2. That's 7.
Yes.
Plus the man and the woman.
9.
7 plus 2, that's 9. So that woman knows where the shoe pinches. I am telling you. If the family is well off, if the husband is well off, if the husband is not having challenges, meeting up with the needs of the family before the arrival of these 2 babies, this one will worry.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the reality on ground. It doesn't matter the kind of business the man is doing. If that business is flourishing, there won't be any worry from this woman. And I think she has weighed all things and see how the things are going, the quality of life and the general things around them. And the economy is not smiling. The economy is not friendly with anyone, especially in Nigeria now. Okay? That notwithstanding, regardless, as you used to say, you say regardless, I'll need to refer them to what the Bible says in Psalm 127, that children are heritage. And it is the Lord that builds a house. And except the Lord does that, whoever that is building vain. Okay? So let's accept that these are wonderful, beautiful gifts from God accepted. Now, the reality now is, how do we take up the challenge of making sure that these children don't lack? They never brought themselves into this world. They are here because God has proposed that they'll be here through those parents. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think Chukwudi need to understand now that men also cry. And when I say men also cry, you don't need to feign to be a superhuman. You don't need to feign to be comfortable when actually you're not comfortable. What do I mean? I think I need to advise him now. If you have a church where you belong to, my dear, don't feel any shame. Reach out to the church. Get to talk to the pastor. Okay? Tell the pastor of the church, this is what my family is facing. You see, this is what humanity is all about. I suddenly turned to be a huge fan of What's this guy that beat our Joshua? What's his name? Tyson Fury. When I get to find out that about $80 million that was paid for him for that fight, the recent fight he fought, he donated it completely to charity, to the homeless, to people who cannot afford meal. Okay? So when things come up like this, you need to reach out. Don't die in silence. Because those children will not understand it whenever they are hungry. They will not understand it that daddy said, okay, I'm going to bring food. They want to see that food. They will not understand it that daddy said, okay, when it's time for you to go to school, God will provide. They need concrete assurance, and you back it up with action. So how do you do that? This is where humanity comes in. I am sure there's nobody you go to in that church that will turn, even if they don't have, because those children are involved, they're going to assist you. So talk to your wife, discuss with your wife, give her all the necessary assurance you need to give her. However, don't die in silence. Reach out to organizations, reach out to the church, reach out to your family members, reach out to friends. When things happen like this is when to know that you belong to a community that cares, and really you get that help. That's my advice there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deacon Ben. Deacon Ben says you need to reach out to the community. You need to reach out to your church, reach out to your friends, and you don't die in silence. That's what he's basically saying. He's saying that in as much as you're telling her not to worry, if you really do not have it covered, don't die in silence. Don't die in silence. Talk to people around you. Talk to your friends, talk to relatives, talk to your church community, talk to your work community, talk to anybody that you think can help. He says, talk to organizations. There are quite a number of people that you can talk to if you choose to go down this route. You can talk to certain people and you can see if you can get their assistance. According to the Kimban, he says this is a way to prove that you have community and that your community cares. So if you want to go down this route, then this is definitely something to consider, just to augment what you currently do, what the current state of your finances is at the moment. So that might be worth looking into as well. Postpartum depression was mentioned in the course of reading the Facebook messages from Nicholas Isaac Soporici. I thought about this earlier, but because it was tied to the fact that she was worried about the upkeep of the children, the financial capacity of the home, I did not necessarily think that it revolved around postpartum depression. But now that it has been brought up again, it's clear that it could be a possibility. And here on Adult Conversations, we like to explore all the possible perspectives of the subject. Now, postpartum depression usually is just what it is, depression. Just now, it's after baby depression. Depression, you cannot really tie it down to one cause. It may start off as one thing, but if it later grows into another thing and another thing and another thing, and at the end of the day, sometimes you can't pin it down to one real reason. It's a psychological situation, and until it's addressed, it might not necessarily go away. So, if this is your wife's challenge right now might be a good time to start getting her to talk to a professional, to start talking to somebody that can give her some really good counseling. Because according to, Nicholas says some go after a short time and others might need a psychiatrist or a doctor's help. Go to any general hospital and tell them this. Look for people to stay with her and assist in all domestic chores. Now, valid points, all valid points, which is why I felt the need to mention it and say it out loud for people to also listen to and understand that it is something that definitely needs to be taken into consideration. Postpartum depression is real. It is real. In fact, more women go through this than they know. Some people actually legitimately go through postpartum depression, but they don't even know that that's what it's called. They don't know it's a they don't know it's a psychological situation, and they don't know it can actually be helped. and they don't know that they can get help for it. So if this is where your wife's if this is what your wife is going through, and I'm talking in terms of the finances and the fact that she just had 2 new babies, we're not sure about how moody she is. Is this a mood swing type of moodiness? Does it go and come back, or is she constantly moody? Regardless, yes, regardless of the situation that it's in, or the state or the level that it's at now, it might be a good idea to get your wife to talk to a professional, talk to a doctor, talk to a psychiatrist, talk to somebody that can give her good counseling on this subject, just so that she can stay above water mentally. She doesn't have to go down. It doesn't get worse, basically, so that it doesn't get worse. This might be a good time to get your wife to talk to somebody professional, and just constant source of encouragement is what a lot of people have said in the course of the messages. Constantly encouraging her and praying with her and talking to her and just getting her to understand that children are a gift, and it will be wise for her not to worry so much. The financial aspect definitely is the biggest reason why your wife is worried in the first place. So this might be worth looking into for yourself and for your children. You know, um, I think that was Mr. Mike who called earlier saying that they should try and cut down on their expenses, on their living standard, whatever it is that they do, that they feel like maybe they overdo. Now might be a good time to stick to some budgets and to just put some stringent financial rules in place so as to not go outside of their budget or of their plan financially, so that at least they can scale up their business, they can invest in their businesses, and they can scale up for a period of time. And then when things normalize financially for them, then you can just go back into doing whatever it is that you do. Family planning is also something that was mentioned, and that point cannot be overemphasized. It cannot be overemphasized. If Chukudi and his family on his wife had practiced family planning earlier, chances are that they would not be where they are now. But if this was a plan to have a big family, then that's also okay. It's valid for anybody who chooses to have a big family. It's their choice. And as long as they can cater for the children, they can cater for the family, then it's normal. If you choose to have a big family, go ahead and have a big family. If you want to have a small family, go ahead and have a small family. Just make sure that your children are well taken care of, and that you also are present and available for your children as well. So, 19 minutes to 11 on Adult Conversations tonight. We have had a lot of advice come in, and we still want to hear more. We still want to take more advice. We still want to hear from you. Again, if you've been in this situation before, Chukudi wants to hear from you. He wants to know how you overcame it if you did. He wants to know how you got through it. He wants to know how you coped. You might not necessarily have overcome it, but if you have coped, if there's a coping mechanism, if there's a way that it works, that you're not depressed or devastated, at the same time your family is not in shambles financially, you're coping, then Chukudi would need your advice. So come on, call in and give Chukudi your advice. Let him know how it is that you waded through the situation and how you handled it. Or 7,000 917 917 or 902 562 5455. Again, 07000 917 917 or 902 562 5455. The text line is also receiving text messages and WhatsApp messages 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. In case you're just joining us, we're profiling Chukwudi's story tonight. Chukwudi's story goes thus: finance is a problem. Finance is a problem. My name is Chukwudi, 43, and a businessman. My wife is 36 and a caterer. We have 5 children. My wife just gave birth to twins. My wife is not happy with this. She's worried about the finances of taking care of 5 children, as this pregnancy was not planned and the economy is tight. I have told her I don't mind, but she's still moody. What can I do to make her happy again? Please advise. And that is the question that we're being asked tonight. What can I do to make her happy again? What can I do to make her happy again? So she's obviously in that state where she's worried, and we don't really know how much they worry, how much that state of worry is affecting the children. We don't know if she's depressed or if this is just worry. If it's depression, she can totally be doing everything that she's supposed to do as a mom, but she'll still be depressed. Depression doesn't look the way a lot of people think that it looks. Depression is more common than we think it is. A lot of people are walking on the streets, are in their homes, in their workplaces, in their communities, in their places of worship, and they are hugely depressed. But it's like, I was going to say that it's like HIV. You know, they show for face. Depression doesn't show on your forehead. So you can meet people who are depressed, but they handle it differently because they're the life of the party. There's so much light that shines in them. They're the people who start up conversations and everything is okay. Basically, I'm going to the point that Chukwudi's wife can be perfectly functional as a new mom. She's been through this 5 times before. So she can be perfectly functional as a new mom, but still be going through depression. So we need to understand the fact that it might not just be worry, it might be actual depression. And if it is, Chukwudi is asking, how can I make her happy again? If it's depression, then we might need to give Chukwudi some more detailed advice as regards how to handle it if this is a depressive situation, not necessarily a case of just casual worry. So this is a text coming in from okay. That was not regarding the story tonight. Okay, so the person who just sent that text, thank you for sending it in, but you will need to send us a more complete story. That text message is connoting the fact that he wants to share his story on adult conversations, which we love and we completely accommodate. So to do that properly, send your name and your story. Send your name, your story, as well as your contact number to 0703 175 6537. I'm saying it not just for the benefit of the person who just sent the text, but also for the benefit of everyone who's listening to me. If you are interested in sharing your story on Adult Conversations, you can send your story along with your name and contact number so that we can reach you and get further insight into your story. That's why we need your contact number. So send your story along with your name and your contact number to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. This is 14 minutes to 11 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. We're still taking calls, and Chukwudi is really in need of our advice. We have talked about postpartum depression. We've talked about the faith aspect of it. We've also talked about the financial aspect of it, which is the major thing that worries Chukwudi's wife. We've talked about it in the sense that we've talked about the fact that not only should we keep assuring her not to worry, but he should also have a financial plan for his business and possibly her business as well. Because at the moment, chances are that she can't really think as regards the business angle of things. She might get jobs, but she might not even necessarily be able to get to them because of the fact that she's weaning 2 babies at the moment. She's breastfeeding. She has all these babies are messy. They're a gift. They're a real gift, but they are messy. So there's a lot of attention and love that needs to be showered upon those babies right now. So okay, that just sounded like a prayer point. That needs to be showered on those babies right now. So she might not necessarily have the time to accommodate jobs that come along her line of work, which is catering. So even if she gets catering jobs, she might not necessarily be able to get to them because she just had twins. So he might need to have strong financial plans that he will need to run by her. Now, I say might need to run because Chukwudi knows his wife. That's the reality of things. Chukwudi knows his wife, so he knows whether sharing whatever ideas he has, if he has ideas for his business, he would know whether it's a good time to share those ideas with her or get her in a better psychological state to be more receptive of things he has to say and how to communicate those to her. So if he has financial plans for himself and possibly financial plans for her as well, it would be a good idea to, accommodate those plans and solidify them so that when it comes to getting that conversation out there in the open between he and his wife, he'll be able to really say things that will allay her fears and get her to understand that, okay, it looks like my husband has this covered. We may not be able to wade through certain things or afford certain luxuries for a period of time, but this won't last forever because my husband has a plan. He has a 2-year plan. He has a 3-year plan, and we can make this work. So, as much as we talked about that, we've also talked about we've talked about streams of income. Okay, streams of income is another thing. So we've talked about financial plans for his current business, which is electronics, and he also adds that he owns his own store. So that is one line of income, one stream of income. Somebody here is saying you need to get more streams of income or you need to double your hustle. Double your hustle is what we say in Nigeria when we're talking about making more money, basically. Owo, kudi, ego, call it what you will. Money is money, and money really does speak. Money really does command things. Money really does make you have options. It really does calm you when it comes to situations that you feel like, okay, you need money to do. And if you don't have money, then you get worried. But if you have money, you're calm because you got this covered, So streams of income might be another thing for Chukwudi to consider. Another stream of income. Let's even start with one. It might not be something completely out of the box, completely out of the field that he's aware of. It might be something in line with that business field, with that business of electronics. It might be something, it might be a partnership. It might be pitching a proposal to a company to give them electronics or electronic services when they need it. It might be partnering with someone who does certain things